Hey, what's going on? My name is Chris Altamirano. I'm just kidding, this mic's not attached. Hey, what's up? My name is Chris Altamirano and I'm doing a 90 days no alcohol challenge. The reason why I'm doing this is because I realized that we all have the power to take control of our lives, and I kind of felt like alcohol was kind of taking its course on me. And I think it was a moment a couple of days ago when one of my buddies actually got behind the wheel and decided to drive home after we went out. And it was one of those things where I realized that, like, you know, as a teenager, I was going out, I was doing that stuff, and you know, you kind of thought it was just like part of the, you know, part of just being a teenager and drinking and driving and acting stupid, you know. But you realize, like, I'm 29, you know, my friend and I are close to the same age, and it's like, man, like, we not only could have taken somebody else's life, you know, we could have taken our lives. And it's so crazy to me how, like, life can just like flip in an instant. And thankfully nothing happened, but it's one of those moments where you realize, like, dang, like, what kind of friend am I being if I let my other friend get in that position, you know? And so as a social drinker, you know, you don't really think that those decisions affect you or the people around you. But the only reason you think that way, or at least I've been thinking that way, is because I realize now that it's because that became my norm. You know, that was normal. Oh, so-and-so, you know, went home and drank and drive. Man, it's so bad. Oh, next morning, hey, did you get home safe? Oh, cool. Oh, dude, you were so messed up. You were so hammered. And it's kind of just been like this, like, toxic cycle. And you don't realize how bad it is until you kind of step back and gain some self-awareness of, like, holy shit, like, this is really happening. And so I guess what I'm trying to get out of this is, one, to replace the habit, because it's essentially a habit. Anytime, you know, I'll go out for a beer, it's never a beer. It always turns into 2 beers, and then 3 beers, and then 4 beers, and then the owner of the bar comes over and he's like, hey, how's it going, Chris? Like, can I get you another beer? On the house, on me. And I'm, you know, 4 or 5 beers inebriated in, and you know, 4 or 5 beers deep. And of course I'll take the sixth, of course I'll take the fifth. You know, it's free, I don't have to pay for it. But maybe I don't have to pay for it in currency, but I might have to pay for it in terms of, like, my life, my decisions. And so I'm sick and tired of getting that shit for free, and really just putting myself in that position to make those silly mistakes, you know, especially when I think that I'm this guy who knows right from wrong. You know, obviously in those states of mind, I don't. And so I guess, like I said, what I'm trying to get out of this is to really take control of my life and do the whole kind of, like, mind over matter thing. Because I really feel like we could all do that. I feel like I can do that. I feel like, you know, maybe if you're watching this video, maybe that's something that interests you, or maybe you have a family member or a relative. So, you know, hopefully my journey will inspire you. You know, this is video one, this is day one. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it's a little nerve-wracking. Not because of giving it up, but because of the identity shift that I know will take place without it. And that's a scary feeling. It's scary, I guess, because you don't really know who you will become or who you can become. And it just kind of goes to that whole thing of, like, people being afraid of success. So I have done a 30-day no alcohol challenge. I remember after, like, 2 weeks, my skin got a little clearer. I was able to get to bed earlier. I woke up feeling a lot more rested. I'm sure those things will happen within the first 2 to 4 weeks as well. But it's like after that 30-day marker, like, oh crap, like, what's this gonna feel like? So I'm sure it's gonna be nothing but positive, but I'm sure there will be some challenges along the way. Obviously, some temptation. A couple things that I am going to be putting into practice. I am an avid reader. I do know that things that essentially, like, once we create a habit, there's, like, this little thing in our brain. It's called myelin. It's like this little white elastic substance, and that's what, like, I guess, coats your neural pathways or something like that, and that's what creates a habit. So once a habit is, like, created, it's created. But the thing is you can change it, you know, or you can't change the habit. You can just replace that habit with a new habit. And so one thing that I'm going to be doing is, and I know that typically anytime I would go out and drink, and this is going to be different for you and different for anybody, for whoever else, it's finding your routines and really finding those triggers of when you decide to go drink. Like, what is going on in your environment where you decide, like, hey, like, I'm gonna go get a beer, or maybe if you're out grocery shopping like me and I'm like walking and I see the 6-pack aisle or whatever, I'm like, oh man, look, a new IPA, you know, a new pale ale. And oh, that looks colorful, let me pick that up. And so, you know, I recognize those things now, and or I have before, I'm finally just acknowledging them. So for me, one thing I'm going to do, because I know when I get bored, that's typically when I want to leave the house and go do something, or go have a beer. And usually I've done a really good job of replacing that with the gym. If you guys want to check out my fitness journey and kind of how my transformation is taking place, you can go to my website. I'll put the link below the video. But I'm just going to use books. I have a ton of books. I buy books all the time. Sometimes I read them, sometimes I don't. So one of the things that I'll be doing is using a book a week to keep me occupied, a new habit, and it's a positive reinforcing habit, and also go to the gym. So I go to the gym already a minimum of 4 times per week. It's non-negotiable for me. Within 7 days, I must go for 4 days. So that took some time too. I didn't just wake up and do it overnight. Like, one week was 2 days, the next day was 3 days. You know, I'm a former athlete, so for me, I feel like I have that myelin like already programmed in my brain. But it's definitely something to start. So if you're starting off fresh, I would recommend, you know, like, dude, like, go to the gym one day a week. And if it's not the gym, go on a walk 2 days a week. Pick up a book, read it, you know, go for 1 book a week or whatever it is. So for me, I'm going for, like I said, 90 days, no alcohol. And that is going to be about, today is the 21st of January, 2019. So my 90 days will be on April 21st, 2019. So that's 13 weeks. So my goal is to add the habit of the gym or keep that consistent 4 days a week. And then on, you know, the 5th, 6th, and 7th day, if I also find myself getting a little bored, then I'll just go and I'll go to the gym and I'll do some cardio or hit the sauna. And also fill that time also with, you know, something productive, which is reading, or going to, I live right next to a park, going to the park and taking a walk, or, you know, going and hanging out with my dogs, you know, at my parents' house, picking up my dogs and, you know, taking them to the park, you know, finding new things, you know, putting myself in new environments. And, again, so this is my little introductory video. It's nothing super fancy. It's just me talking to you guys, and hopefully, I will see you in 90 days. So expect periodic updates. If you want updates, I also blog, so I'll be writing some progress updates at least once per week as well on the website. I'll put the link in the description. If you have any questions, comments, or maybe you have some feedback on things that could help me in this 90-day challenge, or maybe results that you've seen for yourself personally, or maybe for someone you've known, please leave them in the comment section below. I appreciate all the help, and let's get it. Let's get started.